your child. Yet sometimes we're doing it with our people. So look, you gotta believe in people long before they believe in themselves. And if you don't believe in it yet all the way, borrow somebody else's belief. Borrow Eric Olsen's belief. Borrow my belief. I'll give you full permission to borrow my belief. Borrow Mario's. Borrow Juan's. Borrow Paul Hart's. Borrow somebody else's belief. But you gotta start instilling belief. Even if you're scared to lead them, you gotta understand that you brought them into this business. You are now a leader. You are now a leader. You just brought somebody into business. You got to step your game up. So let me go into the next bullet point. Number 5. Daytime activity. This is important for all of us that are on this call, because whether you're full-time or you're part-time, daytime activities will set us apart, right? And it says right there in parentheses, it says, treat this business like you just took a position at Microsoft, and you need to be there to create the history. You gotta treat this business like you just came into Microsoft, right? In the early days when they were building it out of their garage, and you're gonna create history with them. So even if you're part-time, you gotta try to be a part of everything. Especially right now that we're in COVID and quarantine and coronavirus is in full effect, right? And you can't go out, then you know what you should be doing? You should be in this business even more. So now that if you're part-time, you kind of just got transitioned by the government to be full-time, kind of, right? A lot of you guys on this, kind of like, hey, I'm full-time, right? Well, what are you doing if you're part-time? Are you doing things through your day, right? Day-to-day, they're called activity. What are you doing through your daytime activity? If you're full-time, right, I want you guys to understand one thing. If you're full-time, if you're on this call, if you're full-time, what you do during the day will separate you at night. What you do during the day will separate you at night. Meaning, I remember hearing an Ed Milet audio, right? It's like it's recorded in my head. He said in one of the audios, he said, you recruit part-time associates, they give you a list so that on Wednesday morning, when the full-timer has nothing to do, right? The full-timer, your daytime activity is to make the phone calls for the part-timers. See, there's a bunch of us on here right now that aren't where we want to be. And if you're part-time, you got to ask your leadership, right, your mentor, say, hey, I'm not where I want to be. Can you help me make some phone calls? I promise you that most of your mentors, right, whether they're SMBs or marketing directors, they would love to help you. They would love to help you. They would love to help you make phone calls because, see, if we're full-time and this is all we do, we're all the time, right? It's all we do. If we got time to make phone calls in the morning while you're at work, while you're part-time. So the daytime activity is you making phone calls for the part-timers. So I like to look at number 5 like this. You ready? If you're full-time, you work for the part-timers. See, if you follow me on that, if you're full-time, you work for the part-timers. Because the part-timers don't know what they're doing here. They want to eventually transition to full-time, but that means the full-timer, has to put in the work all day so that the part-timer eventually becomes full-time. Does that make sense? The full-timer has to put in the work throughout the day so the part-timer can eventually become full-time. And number 6, this is any activity is a good activity. I've been doing this year for the suggestion, and keep been doing it with some of us leaders, right? We're doing morning walks and stuff like that for mentorship. And I'm doing that with a lot of my teammates. And when I go on his morning walks, I had one of them in particular with one of my directs. And he said, hey, John, I just don't like being accountable sometimes because I don't do anything or I don't do enough. I said, man, you're part-time. I said, when you're part-time, any activity is a good activity. I said, what time do you get off from work? He said, I get off at 5:30. I said, okay, because you take 30 minutes. I said, from now on, you get home at 6. Said, okay, I can do that. I said, you go home at 6 to your family, right? So that means go 30 minutes from 5:30 to 6 in your car or on your drive home. Make a few phone calls on your drive home. He said, man, I never thought about that. He said, I always thought that I needed to sit down in an office or at home, at my home office, and like put together a list or a client appointment and do 2 or 3. I said, look, brother, when you don't have anything going, right? When the wheels aren't spinning, anything is better than nothing. I'd rather you make 3 phone calls on the way home from work as opposed to go home and nothing happens. follow me? He said, man, thank you for that advice. I said, you gotta concentrate your efforts on what you got. You follow me? You gotta concentrate your efforts on the time you got. So if you got 30 minutes in your part time for 30 minutes, you gotta be the best freaking part timer for 30 minutes. What could you do in those 30 minutes to set you apart from other part timers? I said, on the way home, could you stop at a gas station and talk to somebody? Somebody that has a nice car or something. On your way home, if you gotta buy groceries, could you go inside and prospect somebody, talk to somebody? Maybe it's a little different now because of COVID and the mask and everything. But definitely when it wasn't this, COVID and mask and all that stuff, it was easier, right? But could you talk to somebody at a gas station? Could you make a couple of calls on the way home to your warm market? Call one of your friends and reschedule to get him to do a Zoom with one of us. He's like, yeah. I said, you need to stay focused on the 30 minutes you got. He said, man, thank you so much for that advice. He said, I've been sitting down and trying to think of, well, people say to make 50 calls or 100 calls, but I don't have 50 calls or 100 calls. I said, look, man, any activity is a good activity. If you text me tomorrow, hey, John, coach, I made 3 phone calls, I'd be proud of you. Because that's an improvement from 0. You made 0 the day before, you made 3 today, that's an improvement. And you got to stay consistent. Any activity is a good activity. You just got to keep it consistent. And number 7, we have a system-driven business. Our business is driven by a system. A lot of you guys that are on here, some of you guys are new, some of you guys are not. So you gotta allow the system to drive your people, right? You gotta recruit by day, sell by night. Our system is designed, right? The Pinnacle system to drive everything for you. There's BPMs you can plug your people to. Somebody wants to learn about products, they plug in on Saturday morning for the product training in the morning, right? They want to learn how to sell IUL or whatever it is, annuities that are going on. There's specific product training on Saturday morning. You gotta utilize and leverage the system. That's one of the biggest things that if you could ask Eric and Paul that I've been good at, is I leverage my leadership a lot, right? Through all of our exposure, I leverage Paul. Paul would walk into the room and I'm like, hey guys, give it up, Paul Hart in the room. And then I would bring Paul Hart to the front of the room and I'd have Paul Hart, he's like, I don't know what's going on. And I would drive, our system was driven by me, my crazy personality, and then I would see my leader walk in, like Paul, right, and I would bring him up to the front of the room, and then Paul would say a few words to my team, and my team would be fired up. Oh my goodness, they were ready to run to walls. And I was like, man, all I'm doing is I'm a system-driven guy, and I'm a product of our system and our environment. I'm just leveraging the heck out of everybody else around me that's better than me. Right? And thank you, Mario. Thank you, Juan. All these guys have done meetings for me, Randy, all these guys, right? And I'm like, man, Pastor Adrian Lewis did an amazing meeting at one of my offices, and he crushed it. So Juan's been with me to different offices across the U.S. to speak to my team. Did an amazing job. So you gotta leverage our system. It's there for a reason. Number 8, environment. You gotta be a meeting attendance fanatic. Your environment's gotta grow. So right now we're transitioning on the Zoom. Have you checked the Zoom out and send it to your teammates? Hey, are you on? You're missing out. You're talking of Johnny's life. He's talking about recruiting and everything to come on to cap it off afterwards. Are you on? You gotta be a meeting attendance fanatic. Every meeting that I go to this day, I write down how many people I have in that meeting. We had a meeting on Saturday, and the great Paul Hart did our orientation, and we had over 150 people tuned in from different offices, different cameras, and I figured out. I went through all of our pictures and all of our people, and I asked everybody, how many? And they're like, oh, we have 30 over here in Phoenix, and so what, 20 over here. And I was like, man. And then I texted Paul. Think about this. I'm an EMB, over $250,000 in income and all that stuff. I texted Paul Hart. Hey, Paul, just so you know, there's over 100 and plus people on the call. Like 78 of them are from our hierarchy. Orientation. Think about this. Leveraging the great Paul Hart. He's orienting our people. Right? Who better to do it than have Paul Hart do it, right? And so I'm a meeting attendance fanatic. I want to know how many people we got at that meeting, new and even the ones that have been here for a while old. So because you want to react to ones that have been here for a while too. Next bullet point, I'm going to speak to it. I have a lot of stuff that I want to. The business is about doing the right thing. Is about the right thinking and the right activity. It's all about the right thinking and the right activity. Our business, that's all it is. It's about how you think about our business and you doing the right things every day, day to day. There's a quick little quote that I got there. being a flag carrier. Obviously, you guys know I'm Director Paul Hart. We've been a flag carrier for him as long as I can remember. I mean, in the beginning, we weren't too good of a flag carrier. We weren't doing very well. But then after 2013, I don't think there's anybody that has been able to match what our team has done. And I want to make this public statement right here, right now that we're on here, is that we're going to take Paul Hart back up to the top of the company, not only just Team Pinnacle, but WFG is going to know what's about to happen with our team. We just finished doing some collaboration work, and you're about to see some noise. I want to publicly say it on this because I know I don't get a chance to be on here with you guys all too many, champions that are on here. But before I get out, I want to make sure I make that public statement because we're coming, man. And just you better believe we got some flag carriers around here. So number 10. By the way, being a flag carrier, you gotta publicly state some stuff sometimes publicly that'll make you feel uncomfortable. I just started sweating internally. My shirt's all wet now from me saying that. My armpit, and so now I gotta go through the work because I just made some public statements that we're coming after a lot of you guys. We need to make sure that we make some noise. So yeah. Sometimes being a flag carrier, that means you gotta get your butt and put it up that flagpole and be the one that's freaking up there yelling, right? And saying all these things and making these declarations. So I love you guys. Hope you guys cheers on if we're winning here and start to win some more. Number 10, recruit. You gotta have a recruiting explosion. You gotta have a recruiting explosion, and it starts with 10. It starts with 10. Me and my wife, for the longest time, when we started to get into recruiting frenzy, right? We started with 10. We said we gotta recruit 10, baby. We've never done 10, but everybody says that everything happens at 10, and so we went for 10 recruits. And our target, right? We had a target, and that target said hit 10. And we never hit 10. We never hit 10. The target said 10 in the middle, and we always did 7. We did the highest was ever 8. But let me tell you what that did for us. Before we set the target at 10, we were doing 0 and 1 and 2 or none. And then when we set the target at 10, we did 7. Our highest was 8. And then, but see, we started to recruit a ton of people in the bunches. I want you to write that down. Somebody told me the other day, hey, I feel like I'm recruiting a lot of people. And I said, are you? He goes, yeah, I recruited 3 this month, 4 next month, 7 the next month. And then I went, and then 0, 0, 3, 0, 0, 1. I said, well, yeah, but you're 0, 0, 1. And that 1 saw a bunch of zeros. It hasn't met anybody. I said, if you want to explode your business, you got to recruit in bunches. You got to recruit in bunches. See, in bunches means you got to recruit a bunch of people and let them look at each other dead in the face and go, look, these are the 8 other people that I just recruited and brought into the business. And they look at each other and go, whoa, that guy's cool, but I'm going to beat him because we just got started. And what ends up happening is they start to size each other up. You follow me? I remember hearing a conversation from Ed Miley. He said, imagine walking into your big shot meeting, and you walk into that meeting, and then you see Dennis Charles here, you see Jamie Villalobos, and you see Guillermo Haro, and they're all like wild pit bulls. He said they just looked at each other, they locked eyes, and they wanted to kick each other's butts. Oh, he said, because I recruited all of them. He said, imagine having all those guys all at the same time want to just compete for number 1. And you see Pinnacle right now, it's a bunch of people that are doing fairly well. And then so all of us are looking at everybody like, man, like you look at Daniel Fombo and what he's doing, and right, and Linda Fombo, you're like, man, and you see them, and you go, oh, that kid, they're kicking some serious tail. And so but see, all of us should be thinking, man, with the recruiting explosion, they're not that far. Even though if you're brand new on the call and they're kind of far, you should be thinking they're not that far. Remember, our business is all the right thinking and the right activity. They're not that far. Just don't think that way, right? So then out of the 10 that you go aim at, you're going to work with the best. Usually it's about 2 people out of the 10 that are the studs. We call them the rabbits. And those are the ones that are going to set the pace for you in your base shop, set the pace for you and your team. So you're looking for the rabbits, right? Number 11. And the real players identify themselves in your base shop as if they're going out to SMB, which is 30 by 30 in the base shop. Your goals and your dreams all matter to us. And I don't know if I have any more slides. I think I have more, but I'm going to you can go back with one more slide. I have like 3 or 4 more slides. I don't know how much more time I got. I think I'm pretty much running out of time right now. I don't want to overstay my welcome because I don't know when the next time will be that I'll get invited if I overstay my welcome. I just want you guys to understand one thing as I turn over the microphone to my mentor, Aaron. And I want you guys to understand one thing. You can go to the last picture, but we like to have fun here too. Oh, check this out. This is our team last year. Just real quick. Our team last year, we did our own wealth book. We had 360 people registered at the wealth book, and we sold out this venue for our team for the first time ever. So we broke off from our hierarchy, so we're going to do our own wealth book. That was us with my SMDs. We freaking packed the house. The light blue shirts you see here in the front is our SMDs. I'm out of Phoenix. They had over 180, 200 people there. Out of Phoenix. They freaking came all the way from Phoenix, man. All the way from Phoenix. Think about that. Over 200 people came from Phoenix, man. I'm so blessed to have people like them on our team. Arlene and Gabe and Carlos Ruiz and all the guys in Phoenix killing it. They did an amazing job in mobilizing. The rest of the guys, we have guys that were in that meeting from St. Louis. We got people in St. Louis now. We got people in Florida. We got people in Boise, Idaho. In Utah, there's locations in Utah. I'm not talking about people in their home. I'm talking about locations. Boise, Idaho, Utah, Chico, California. Obviously, our office here in Santa Clara. That's the great Jeff Livingston. He came out to our walk call. You can go to the last picture. I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like now. I know I started with a little picture of like 3 people on my team. And now it's growing, right? We get to have fun too, man. We did some of our SMDs and traveling the world, and some of our MDs that qualify for trips. And my kids get to travel the world as well. My wife loves having. It's just an amazing dream life, man. And I want to say we owe it all to Eric. We owe it all to Eric because I'm gonna tell you one thing. Eric has set himself apart in WFG so far that all of us want one day to be able to fill in those shoes, even if it's partially, right? Because Eric got a big shoe. Right, I'm a little guy. I'm 5'7". Eric's like 6'7", right? So I'm trying to fill in those shoes, man. And we owe it to our leadership. We owe it to our leadership. And remember this: because of a struggle with Penn, somebody recruiting me one day, all this stuff has happened. All these people that you see in all these arenas and stages and places that we get to visit and talk to. That's my kids at the last Hawaii trip. We took all our kids to Hawaii. They had a blast, man. They had a blast playing with all you guys, kids that were there. I hope you guys qualify for the next Hawaii trip. I know we had a blessing to qualify for this one too. And it's just a blessing to be a part of Pinnacle, man. It's a blessing to be a part of Pinnacle. I never knew what a life could look like in a business like this because I never saw, I didn't have this opportunity growing up. My family never owned businesses like this. We never thought of traveling the world. And we're the first ones, I saw somebody posted on here in the group chat, we're the first ones to break that generational curse in our family, right? I don't know who said it. I might have been Grant Cardone or somebody on here who said, a rich family, I don't come from a rich family, but a rich family will come from me or something like that, right? I might have got the quote wrong, right? But I don't know if we got it wrong, but it makes so much sense when I read that quote. Yeah, you know what? I might have come from a poor family, but a poor family ain't gonna come from me. Are you following me on that? I think that's what it was. I might have come from a poor family, but a poor family is not gonna come from this Mexican, right? And so, with that being said, man, somebody wants to create freedoms like, I just want you guys to understand one thing. You're going to create freedom. You choose the freedom you want to have. I remember people used to make fun of us or make fun of Paul. I love my leadership, man. People used to critique, oh, man, Paul's retired. Somebody told me one time, Paul's retired. And I said, well, isn't that the goal? Isn't the goal to get free here? Isn't the goal? Wasn't the goal in WMG that you built a business, right? That one day you can pass on to your family and you don't have to be there every day doing it, right? You follow me on that? Like, isn't that the goal? Man, when they say that about Paul or about anybody in the company, I'm like, man, that sells me the dream. Anybody on here would sold the dream if we told you, hey, we're going to wait a while, you're going to get paid $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 the rest of your career, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, and ongoing as your people grow, but you don't have to do anything ever again, right? We're here to break these generational curses, right? And not to cast other spells on people and downtalk anything. No, we're supposed to, man, let's have fun. Let's have fun doing this thing. Let's have fun doing this. Let's go kill it. Let's go show WFG that Pinnacle is here to stay forever. And we're going to go roll all these guys that are trying to compete against Pinnacle and roll them out, you know what I mean? Like off to the side, like, hey, you guys need to go sit down because when Pinnacle shows up, you're nothing but number 2 next to Pinnacle. You guys follow me? Nothing but number 2 next to Pinnacle. And Eric, I want to thank you and Sandra. You don't even know how much you do for me. You don't know how much you do for Aaron. Sandra, I know we don't talk as much, but Eric's always bragging about how amazing you are and how one day we hope to be like you guys, right? And the life that you guys live and the everything that you guys do, man, we fired up. So with that being said, I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys learned something, and I hope to get re-invited back here to the Money Mondays with you guys. And thank you, Eric, once again, Sandra, all of you guys, Wilson, for the AV team, Eric, everything that you guys do, man. Eric, you're amazing. You're amazing. The things you guys got to do, Cassandra, all you guys. I appreciate you guys, Eric. Thank you once again for having me. I hope I brought some value, and we're going to open it up back to Eric. Thank you, Eric.
Johnny, that was awesome. Johnny, that was awesome, brother. Let's give Johnny a man. You killed it, brother. You killed it. That was so awesome. Thank you so much for being on tonight. I love everything you were talking about, man. You sold the crusade. You sold the dream. You're such an inspiration. My phone's blowing up. And Latino Nation, right? We heard from the Wakanda Nation, the Adobo Nation. Now we got the Latino Nation. I love it. That's awesome, man. Great stuff, brother. Your team, the Dream Team, should be very proud as you as their leader. And I love the fact that you are looking great. You just lost a bunch of weight. You're working out. You just obviously got married. You guys have 4 kids. You have no excuses. You're after it. You're recruiting. You're building. You're leading. You're competing. You're making me proud, man. Pinnacle pride, that's for sure. So appreciate you very, very much, Johnny. Thank you for everything you did. I have a couple questions for you, if you don't mind. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, awesome. So first and foremost, you have a lot of strengths in this business, Johnny, but one of your biggest strengths is obviously recruiting, right? You are a recruiting master. So what would you tell someone, maybe they're pretty good at producing, but they're not the best at recruiting? What would you tell someone to get good at recruiting? Because you recruit triple-digit recruiting every month for 5 years in a row. Like, you're one of the best recruiters in all of Pinnacle. So if someone's struggling with recruiting, how can you get them to be a great recruiter like you? What would you say to that, Johnny?
The first thing is for that question is if somebody is struggling with recruiting, because I was there in 2010, 2011, and all through my first years in the business. It's the biggest thing is they gotta figure out like the people so it's a people's business, right? We're in a people's business, so you're gonna be in front of people. So the same people that you're selling to could potentially become your recruits. And so I think for a lot of people when they get into the selling and they find a struggle in recruiting is you're making a sell. You're already making a sell. You're making a sell on them saving money the rest of their life. To me, the easier sell is to then recruit them, right? To recruit them. And so if you're not recruiting and you want to turn the page and you want to get going on recruiting, you just got to change your mindset when it comes to how you think about people and what you're forward doing for them. Think about our stories. The way I look at it now is okay. If I wasn't into recruiting, all these crusade stories that have happened to us would have never happened. So for me, it was a mental shift because I was having a mental block for a long time, and so I'm still not the biggest recruiter in my team, but we have some of the biggest recruiters in our team, and so it all stemmed from the way we think about how recruiting can come about. So it's just a simple mind shift on how you perceive recruiting. And so for me, the way it worked was, okay, somebody blessed me, right, by recruiting me, and all these blessings have now happened for me. I want to bless somebody else. And so when you look at it that way, then it makes it a lot easier for you to recruit your client, right? Because your clients should be your best recruits, and your recruits should also be your best clients, right? Or vice versa, right? So then, for me, like you gotta be thinking the right way. And the thinking the right way for recruiting is I look at every client now as a potential recruit, and every recruit as a potential client. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I was intimidated by recruiting for a long time, and I had a couple just sitting in front of my desk that me and you had talked about, right? That I was working on a case, and this couple was a multi-millionaire. They were just in here today in my office right before this call, and I remember before I'd be so intimidated to meet with these guys, and now they're even in our business because I've recruited them. They're in our business. They're a part of our team, and I'm thinking, man, like this opportunity is great. it's the greatest opportunity on planet Earth. And even them, some of them are on this call. So I don't know if that helps. It's a mentorship.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Because at the end of the day, we want to help people. We want to change people's lives. And guess what? There's the 30-year plan to change someone's life as a client, but then there's the 5-year plan to change someone's life in our business. And that's exactly why I love recruiting, because we literally can change people's lives through recruiting them, just like my life was changed, just like your life was changed. You know what I mean? That's why I love recruiting. So that was a great answer, Johnny. My next question to you is, you have a successful business, you have a wife, and you have 4 little kids who are all young. You have your home, you have your office, and now obviously you're working out every day. You're going through your transformation. Like, you're doing all these things all at the same time. So my question to you is, how do you do it all? What do you say to people? What about balance? Talk about that, because some people are like, I have a job and a business and a family. Like, how do you do it all, Johnny? What would you say to that?
Man, I'll be honest. That's a great question. It's this business, man. I don't think you're ever gonna have a balance. I miss, and my wife is on the call too. I miss some what do they call it, the date night sometimes, and then I make it up to her, and I'm like, babe, we're so busy, right? We're so busy, and I go, hey, babe, I love you, and I missed that. I missed today, and then we make it up. But we make it a point that we communicate very well. Me and my wife, my sister-in-law, she lives with us. She's our operations person. She's like everywhere, right? She helps me with chores, with picking up stuff, like all kinds of stuff, right? And it's crazy because I have staff that that even live with us, right? That take care of and help us, right, with all kinds of needs at home. And they'll tell you from their experience too that my communication with her is, man, we're constantly communicating about what's next, or what we got to do, or where where are gaping weaknesses that I have, or that we have, or that we need to be fixing or correcting. And I don't think anything's ever going to be in balance. Today I was supposed to go work out in the morning. I picked up Muay Thai and doing mixed martial arts in the morning with some UFC fighters that I'm getting into markets, right? That we're gonna get them into WMT. You guys are gonna see us on UFC. The next one here in February will be part of their event, or you'll see our logos on the. And I'm hoping to get Pinnacle, blasted off some of their shorts and stuff, which would be cool, right? And I'm supposed to go out there today. They're doing sparring and training for their fights that are coming up. And so I'm one of their stunt dummies that goes in. And I couldn't go, and I was a little upset that I wanted to be. It's a market that I get into, right? So I don't want to be missing all this stuff, and I couldn't go. I had to text to my kids, and I had to text to my wife, and then I said, hey, I'll go tomorrow, and I'll make them, So things are never going to be all in balance, and they're never as perfect as you're gonna think they are, right? And things are never going to work out as great as you think they are, either with like your schedule. But you just have to communicate. If you're married or you have a significant other, you have to communicate everything. I'm literally walking around sometimes, and I'm saying things out loud just in case I forget, right? My wife is listening, or somebody's listening, because we have an agenda, we have things that we gotta accomplish, and so then she'll remind me of things, and I'll remind her, hey, Dave, don't forget, you gotta do this, and we gotta do that, and we gotta prepare our PowerPoints, and we gotta, and we gotta look for the trip that we're gonna go on with our team and our family and all this stuff, right? So it's just, I don't think it's ever gonna be a perfect balance, but there's perfect imbalance, if that makes any sense. There's perfect imbalance, meaning that there's going to be a lot of things that are not going to be in balance, but you play the cards that are dealt to you every day, and if you got to pivot every day, or every other day, or once a week, then you got to learn how to pivot, man, because with these day and age, the way everything's going on with coronavirus and all this stuff, if you're not learning how to pivot with Zoom and all this stuff, then you're going to have a hard time. So it's just that I don't think it's ever going to be in balance. It never will be. Even for us, we got 4 kids, and our baby was born through this whole quarantine, right? And it wasn't easy. They almost didn't let me in because it was in the beginning of all this stuff in April, and this quarantine and shutdown happened in March. And so I remember I had to talk my way into the hospital, and I persuaded the people at the front to let me in because they weren't going to let me in. I said, are you crazy? My daughter's about to come into this world. I'm coming in. You know what I mean? Or we're taking this whole birth home, right? And but it was crazy, but it was fun, and I thought to myself, only because I learned through WLG the words and how to be on people's good sides and something, that I was able to get myself into the hospital and all that stuff. Otherwise, had I come in with long hair and cornrows, they might have just escorted me out. But I don't think anything's ever going to be in balance. You just got to work with what you got and do the best you can communicating. So, yeah, that's huge. That is very, very huge. Thank you, Eric, for the question.
I like that, Johnny. That's good wisdom right there. A perfect imbalance. Because you can do it all, you can have it all, you can be it all if you schedule it all in. And you're doing a good job of doing it all. And we appreciate your wife, Erin, so much for being such a great support for you and your business and your guys' business together. What an amazing power couple that you both are. So I appreciate her very much. And, the great Lisa Bayona says, if you want balance, you should try yoga, right? That's the deal. And I agree with that. So we're running out of time here, Johnny, but one last question for you, if you don't mind. And this is the famous question I ask everybody. So if you were to start all over tomorrow, knowing what you know now, what would be the top 3 things you would do differently in this business? So basically what that means is what advice do you have for all the new people here, thousands of people listening on here tonight?
I'll give you number 1, be way more coachable, because we all think we're coachable, but we're coachable to an extent. I don't know if you guys remember my story going back to when I got cornrows, right, to come back to the VPN. I was like coachable, but I would defy the laws of coachability. Like I would push the envelope to see how much I could get away with. That like, okay, that wasn't what he wanted me to do. He wanted me to cut my hair. So if I can go back, because of where I come from, you don't just become the most coachable person to somebody you just meet, right? That's just the way that we're raised, right? At least from where I come from. You kind of have to build that trust and that relationship. But if I can be honest with you guys, everybody that's on this call, from your mentors and the leadership that you have, they have a vested interest in us, in our success. Had I believed that soon enough, right? And I listened and sold out right away, right? Right away, like sold out completely, like I'm all the way in, cut my hair day 1 and start the transformation day 1, and been coachable from day 1, things would be way different. That's number 1. Number 2, I would have sold out to recruiting way earlier. I didn't buy into the recruiting game until 2011. At the end of 2011, beginning of 2012, that was 4 years in. For me. Think about if I had bought in 48 months before the recruiting game and building a business. I thought I had gotten a job when I got recruited here. So I thought, well, I'm just not trying to get fired. I got a job. I got to keep this job for as long as I can. And then one day I'm going to get to like pension myself out of it and retire. And then when I figured out that it was like, man, you got to build other people, recruit people, train and develop people. And then it was a game changer, but that took 4 years, 4 years. Had I learned that day 1, things would have changed day 1. So being more coachable and being way more recruiting oriented in the beginning, early on in stages. And then just being a student of the business, man. Being a student of the business, just following the footsteps of giants like you. Because I know early on, I'll tell you this, early on, my last one, right, early on, I was listening to too many clowns that weren't where I wanted to be, but they were good buddies of mine. And I was like, well, I don't want to be where they're at. And I was listening to the wrong people. So be very, very careful who you take advice from. You got to take advice from your upline, which is the mentor that you have that brought you into the business, or somebody who's doing way better than you in this business in order for you to get there. And I know early on for me, I would do a lot of sideline conversations. Meaning that the people around me, I would counsel with them a lot, and they say this. It's the same in our business, but it makes sense now. When I was new, I never thought about it this way. It says if you want to go up, you listen to your uplines. You want to go down, you listen to anybody that's newer than you. And if you want to be stuck, you listen to your sidelines and you just go round and round in circles because there's your sidelines, right? So then none of this stuff made sense when I was newer. It all makes sense now. And I'm like, man, I know this stuff when I was brand new, and it actually made sense. Because, I come from a rough background. Things like this, you go, no, they're just trying to get me to do something right. But it's like, no, they're trying to get you to win, man. Listen. So those are my top 3. What was it? It was recruiting, obviously, number 1. And the most coachable, recruiting, and then listening to the right mentor. having the right mentor behind you is money, man. It'll make you money, and you'll win in the business a lot sooner.
That's such good advice, Johnny. Man, I hope everyone was listening to that. Really, really good stuff. Be more coachable. Be a student of the business. Be very careful who you listen to, and have that recruiter's mentality and builder's mindset way, way, way sooner. Just like you have, Johnny. You've recruited thousands of people. You've made millions of dollars in this company over your career, and I'm very, very proud of you, man. It's great being in business with you. And Sandra and I love the fact that you and Aaron are making Pinnacle better. You delivered tonight, brother. Appreciate you very much, and I'm looking forward to you being one of the next CEOs very, very soon at Pinnacle. No doubt in my mind you're going to get there soon. So thank you, Johnny. You're the man, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Let's give Johnny Sepulveda a big round of applause. Yeah, the crowd goes wild. Great job, Johnny. You're the man. You are the man. So you guys heard from Mike Van Buskirk from Transamerica tonight. You heard from Austin Harwood tonight. You heard from Lulu Van Buskirk tonight from Everest. And you just heard from the great Johnny Sepulveda. So that was really, really good stuff. I hope Johnny inspired you. I hope one day you will be asked to be on Money Monday and Pinnacle TV. It's going to happen soon. If you believe it, you will achieve it. So I have a quick PowerPoint for you just to show you what's next. What's next? What's next? So please, let's go ahead and show this PowerPoint just so you guys know what's going on next with Pinnacle TV. That's my beautiful wife, Sandra. And man, I don't know where I'd be without that amazing lady right there. You know, that's us on social media and business media. Let's make sure we represent Pinnacle as the #1 team in the entire company. So, next slide. Here we go. This Wednesday night, we have our National Pinnacle Zoom BPM with one of the top ladies in all of Pinnacle, Miss Caitlin Groshong. She will be our special guest speaker this Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time. She's an amazing leader, an amazing speaker. So make sure we invite a bunch of guests for this Wednesday night for Miss Caitlin. All right, next slide. Here we go. This Saturday, we have our Separation Saturday. Remember, Money Mondays is recruiting, building, leading, competing system. And every Saturday morning is more of the focus on helping the clients and all the products and services that we offer and all the products and services we represent. So the great Armando Palomino out of Dallas, Texas, he's been in the financial industry 17 plus years. He worked at the bank for over 10 years, and he's going to talk to you about how the traditional banking system really, really works, how the traditional financial industry really works versus our company. So Armando is going to be really, really good this Saturday morning, so make sure you tune in for that. All right, next slide. Next Monday, we have a lady, they call her nickname is Mama Africa. She's from Ghana, Africa. She's an amazing leader. She just became an executive marketing director. She's about to cross over 6 diamonds in her ring, over 600,000 a year in income. She just promoted 3 SMBs. She just became an executive marketing director. Miss Amelia, Marfo Sarbang, and Patrick, they're an amazing couple, and I can't wait to have them on Money Monday next Monday night. All right, next slide. Here we go. What do we got next? All right, we have our GA. It's only a couple weeks away, Friday, December 18th, with my great friend, Mr. Dan Charlier, will be our final guest speaker, session 6 for the GA, which is SMBs and above. All right, next slide. Let's see, what do we got here? All right, those are the GA dates. Okay, next slide. We have our NLA, Next Level Academy, our last session. Oh my gosh, this last session with Levi Nisamboni were amazing this past Saturday. And we have one last session, which is the great Alex and Stephanie Haynes, who are about to get their 7th diamond in their ring. They are a power couple from San Diego, California, and I can't wait for you guys to hear from them in a couple weeks at our very last NLA. All right, next slide. By the way, I know that most of you are participating in the NLA, but how about you go and graduate the NLA? By the way, this last Saturday we had the Women's Leadership Conference from WFG. Wasn't that awesome? And so our last NLA, Saturday, December 19th, we're going back to regular time, which is 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific time for our very next level academy. All right, next slide. Here we go. Hey, have you earned your Pinnacle Blue Builders Blazer yet? You got to get that done. October, November, December, you still have a chance. That's why we got to finish the year strong. You know, I played sports, and they stand up and say, it's the fourth quarter, it's the fourth quarter, it's the last quarter. Well, guess what? This is the last month of the year. You need to graduate the NLA, you need to graduate the GA, you got to finish this year strong, and the best way to finish this year strong is graduate the NLA and get your Pinnacle Blue Builders Blazer. All right, next slide. All right, we have the co-brand. We are representing Pinnacle as the number one team in the company, as the number one company in the industry. I hope you change your name on the company recognition for the Leaders Bulletin, so you have Pinnacle and then your name. Okay, next slide. Because we are representing Pinnacle. And look at what it says on the Leaders Bulletin. Pinnacle number 1, Pinnacle number 2, Pinnacle number 3, Pinnacle number 4. Pinnacle is representing. We don't just talk about being the number one team, we actually really are the number one team. And I'm so proud to be the leader of this amazing organization. And you know why we're the number one team? Because we have incredible leaders a part of this organization. And we are showcasing our talent every Monday night, every Wednesday night, every Saturday morning. You see different speakers, different leaders, different trainers, different topics, different subjects, different stories, different demographics, different geographics, different religions, different nationalities, genders, orientations. But guess what? At the end of the day, they all got hearts of champions. That's why I just love our team. Next slide. Hawaii. We just finalized the Hawaii trip. Last Friday was the very last cycle of the month in Pinnacle. And I just want to congratulate our organization. We crossed over 10 million points last month total together as a hierarchy. The first time in Pinnacle history we crossed over 8 figures in net profit in 1 month. That is incredible. That means our organization paid out over $10 million in cash flow last month in November. Wow, wow, wow. Our team is exploding. All right, next slide. This is not a pandemic, this is a paydemic. By the way, did you qualify for Hawaii? The official Hawaii list will be updated hopefully by this Friday, or worst case by next Monday. We will find out who officially qualified for the WFG Company Hawaii trip. We are taking 500 couples to Hawaii. Pretty awesome. Next slide. All right. Next slide. Here we go. Hey, are we going to knock this out? Mission EC, we're at 72 million points. We got to be at 75 million points by the end of the month. Let's push hard. Let's finish the month strong. With this new Transamerica product merging with Everest, oh my goodness, with this new contest. By the way, who's going to qualify for this new contest? Who's going to be a part of the top 200? All you got to do is turn in 3 personal sales this month, and you'll qualify for the special contest. Let's get it done. All right, next slide. Hey, in the Bible, it says if the leader has no vision, the people perish. So luckily, we have a huge vision for our organization. We're going to have 250,000 licensed agents. We're going to have 1,000 new millionaires across all 50 states and 3 different countries. We're going to help 10 million families achieve financial independence through our products and services, and we will become the #1 leadership financial company in the world. And I hope you're on board for that. I hope you're ready to revolutionize the financial industry, because that's exactly what we are doing. So, what a great night tonight. Awesome job to Johnny Sepulveda. Great job to Mike and Lulu Van Buskirk. Awesome job to Austin Harwood kicking us off. I just love being a part of this organization. We are a very special team because we have very special people a part of our organization. So let's finish the month strong. Everybody put their 4 up. It's the fourth quarter. Everybody put their 4 up. Let's finish this month strong. Let's go recruit, build, lead, and compete. Let's go help thousands of families out there. We're having a holiday special. We're gonna do free financial plans for people. We're gonna give a free 20% signing bonus for people. We're gonna help people set up their own family bank. We're gonna help people set up their own family business. What we do is incredible. Please don't take it lightly. You are a leader, you are a champion, and you are going to do great things with your life. We love you, we appreciate you, we believe in you, and I'll see you all at the top because we all know it's way too crowded at the bottom. Have a great night. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Let's finish this month strong. Woo!
Feeling good, like I should. When in circle, walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah. Hey, every day can be a better day despite the challenge. All you gotta do is leave it better than you found it. It's gonna get difficult to stand, but hold your balance. I just say whatever, cause there is no way you're round. Everyone falls down sometime, but you just gotta know it'll all be fine. It's okay.